guys. Little bit of technical difficulty, but we got it going. This is Abraham Carranza coming to you from my Mastermind.
And Emily Carranza.
And we've got
Gillis.
And Gillis.
All right, guys. Today we're going to be doing a live, and we're going to be discussing, last couple of weeks we've been discussing the organized planning and the imagination, and we're going into the mastermind and mindset. I want to touch lightly on the mindset, and I want to bring everybody's mind to order to begin with. And in order to really understand the process and the creative process, we need to understand who and what we are to begin with. And so that starts off with the mind. Everything begins and ends with our mindset. And what we do here in this company and is relatively, we show people how to get what they truly want, how to really understand the mind, how it works, and how our body and our mind interact incongruently, and it's creating this life. It's creating our experiences. And if we're really not in control of our mind, and we're not controlling, we're not upgrading, kind of say, you can say you're upgrading your mindset, you're not continually growing, developing your mind. This is where majority of people stay stuck, and they really don't know why. They really don't know why they're getting the experiences that they're getting. They really don't know what they need to do to get better results. They don't know how to, one, generate more income. They don't know how to work in the business they want, or create their own business, or create multiple sources of income. So very first thing, I want to touch slightly on the mind and what's getting people's results and giving them the experiences they're getting without them even knowing it. Taha, you want to start?
Yes. Sorry, you're cutting out. I've heard that you asked what is the result that people get what they want.
Yes. Why majority?
Okay. Go ahead.
But they're truly not getting the ones they want.
Well, it's because of their belief system, because of their programming. You know, a lot of you know, when we're programmed based off of our subconscious mind is programmed based off of our environment, places, peoples, and culture and race, that we understand certain things and we develop a fundamental, and we see the world from that fundamental. And in order to change that and to change our perception, our view, and our belief in the world, we got to be able to change those perception, belief, and what has been given to us, or basically inherited to us through our family or environment, depending on what countries and you were born and what religion you were brought up, or what family you were raised in. So in order to do that, we got to look into our belief system and reevaluate our belief system and our perceptions.
What's given us our perceptions? What's given us our starting point, should you say? Because everything objectively, we view the world, but we're viewing the world through this perception and through these beliefs, right?
Right.
So I kind of want to let's go forward in time of a result. The result is an effect. Let's go backwards in time now. So we're seeing the results, we're seeing the effects in our life, which is money, which is the home, which is the car, which is the our partners, wives, our wife, husband, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, our friends, right? So those are all results, and those, they don't come in by accident. We attract it. How are we attracting all of these results, and how is that really dictating how we interpret our world?
Right. So basically, everything has been explained to us And when we're young, you know, before age of 7, our subconscious is wide open, and everything, depending on those circumstances, everything has been explained and defined for us. So that's what we understood. That's how things are, and based off of that, we start um, attracting people, places, and things based off of what we understand. And since we understood those in life, we just look for those things, and we just look for those things, and we attract those things in our life.
So that's
Right.
relative. That's creating our starting point.
Mhm.
So when we look at these results, that is the realization of our mindset.
Mhm.
There's no denial of it. We start looking around our house, our home, the way we live, the people we attract into our life. Those are always in alignment with a certain way of thinking,
Exactly.
right?
Because you can think of are like magnets. They're pulling and attracting only the things that are in alignment with that thought. Wherever that you could call it, vibration, like you're tuning into a frequency or radio. And then everything that is on that channel is what you're going to hear and see and experience.
Very good illustration. So just like when we walk into our vehicle and we turn on, the minute we turn on the knob, we've already had preset dials that we're in harmony with. Why are we in harmony with these dials? And is it by accident that we're already tuned into hearing those different radio stations, hearing that type of music, hearing those vocals, that sound, and then the words behind the sound? Those are not accidents, right?
Exactly. So how many times have you gone car and listened to the radio and you've been like sad and you heard a song that or randomly like a new song comes on the radio that's perfect alignment with what you're feeling, right? And you're like, oh, I needed to hear this, or man, it's like they wrote the song for me.
Right. We don't get what exactly what we want. We get what we are. So you can desire many big things, but we're not in harmony with it. We're really not in alignment with that type of result. This is where we miss it, and why we keep missing the what, the big prizes, or the big wealth generating uh, uh, bonuses, or even just revenue streams or MSIs, or all of this lack of is because we're not in alignment with it. We're not finding those things because we weren't brought up to have those things.
And we're not aware of them. All the possibilities and all these things are always surrounding us, and we have unlimited potential, and every answer that we are searching for is there. It's just whether or not we're currently aware of it.
Or how
And
to
it's
put it together.
Exactly. And that's based off of your perception and your understanding and your thoughts, because then you're only resonating at that. So you're not going to be able to see outside of where you currently are.
Right.
Hey, say, Abe, I think you touched on a pretty good point there. When Gillis was talking about how many times you turn on the radio and it talks about the way that you're feeling, that's good. But just like you said, we don't get what we want, we get what we desire. And I think that what she was talking about was emotional feeling. And you got to kind of detach yourself from those emotions. At least that's what I have come to gather.
Yes,
I know you got to be emotional. Don't get me wrong. I know you got to be emotionally involved, but you do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're wanting to go somewhere different other than the program, you want to go further than our, again, beliefs. What is the program? The program is a compilation of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, but it's also a massive information that we've gathered. And if we want to go further than that level of awareness, and we want to go further than that, we got to be ready, willing, and able to unlearn and relearn. When we come in this world, we learn. The child is not able to reject any ideas. It can only accept, right? So that is the very beginning of our conditioned mind and our conditioned way of thinking. So what we need to understand is that we wanting to go further than our abilities, we're going to need to go somewhere else. Where do we need to go into, Em?
Well, for one, you're going to have to tap into the imagination. And by doing that, you're actually going to start using the imagination to set goals or to start moving in a direction towards achieving something that you really want. And once you start doing that, it's almost like everything starts to align, because the more you know what you want and you start imagining it, and the more you can, the more detail you can add to that image, the more you will start to find that the people, places, things, and a little bit of what y'all were talking about earlier will all start to line up, because whatever you're thinking about all the time, that's what you're going to be attracting.
Right. And it's very important to understand, your higher faculties, and what Abraham and Em are talking about is very important. Imagination, it's one of the higher faculties, and imagination creates fantasies. And fantasies is the first stage of first stage of creation in life. So if you can see if the company that you're working for, or a company that you own, it started with fantasies. It didn't just came just by accident. So it's very important for people to understand that the part of the creative process, it happens through imagination. It happens through imagination, fantasies, theory, and facts. And if you can keep that imagination, fantasies that creates by imagination, you can start creating theory and start thinking about it, and it comes to fact, and it comes into your life. It manifests in your material world. So that faculty is very important for things that we want, the things that we want to create.
Right. Because first, everything always starts out with an idea, a concept. Right. And then that concept, once built upon and created in the mind, then can be created into actual physical, tangible reality.
Yes, so one of the biggest things, we're creating all the time. And because the mind is an activity and the mind is movement, that means results are always happening. And they're not happening to us, they're happening for us. This is what's important. And this is what we really need to understand. When we're looking at this creative process and we're looking at how to create a new thing, how to build a new model, or generate more income, or have a better lifestyle, or have better relationships, what we need to do is we need to start thinking from a different point, a different starting point. If my mind keeps centering itself in negative thoughts, negative beliefs about myself and who I am, and most importantly, who I'm not, well, that's my conditioned mind already predetermining what I'm going to do in the future. And this is what's so important. A lot of people really don't understand. You're not getting the results you're getting because you can't do better. It's because you weren't programmed to do better. You were not programmed to, if you're not generating $100,000 yearly, it's not because you can't, it's because you don't know how. If you're not generating $200,000 a year, it's not because you can't, it's because you don't know how. 300, 400, a million, 2 million, right? Mm-hmm. What's holding people back? Let's go move into next. We're starting to understand this process, and we're starting to understand. Let's introduce the paradigm again, in case new people on there that don't understand what a paradigm is.
Yes, a paradigm is going to be a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control over your behaviors, and almost all behaviors are habitual.
Right. So this paradigm, it's a massive information, and it's an attitude. Attitude is a composition of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. These three components coming together. There's a lot of information in there, but it's a composition of all this information coming together, and that becomes your starting point. You view the world from this level of awareness. Now, the rich man, the beggar man, the poor man, the man that walks the street, the man that's a billionaire, all the same man, different levels of awareness. This is what we need to understand. And each and every one of us, because all lines are and everything is connected, we can accelerate or we can decelerate from this same principle, because we're all connected. Mm-hmm. So then we need to ask the question, well, then who's governing these possibilities? Why is it that why is it the 3% or 3% of individuals are earning all the big money? Or why is it certain people can create a business and they're very highly successful? And what's the difference with the person that doesn't and never moves out of working in a job or working labor? Can we kind of break that down for everyone?
Yeah, well, the difference between that is going to be, well, one, the it's going to be awareness, and another big part of it is going to have to do with the paradigm, because whatever you grew up seeing, maybe your people typically that have their own businesses, their parents probably had a business. Their parents probably were entrepreneurs or started some type of business, whether it was small from a mom and pop to even big businesses like Starbucks or stuff like that that you see today. So that it's awareness, it's understanding, it's how you were
And
brought
it's
up.
belief,
Yes.
right? So if they've already been born in a conditioned mind and a conditioned home that they're generating 50 plus, chances are the children are going to do it fairly easy because they've already been programmed to produce more or less those type of results.
Mm-hmm.
If the family was impoverished and they're doing beneath, I don't know, welfare, or and generating 20 grand a year or less than that, well then that's their starting point, and that's where their level of awareness is.
And if you look at it that way, like I have a really good example, kind of what he was going over. So growing up, I went to school in an area that wasn't the best, and I didn't really realize the type of paradigms and programming that I had until my dad took me out of that, and he took me to a place that was completely different. It was night and day, like literally. Um, I realized what I was wearing, the way I represented myself, the way I held myself. I didn't like it. Back where I was still holding myself up pretty high, but moving into a different area and seeing things differently, it really changed my perception. And I grew from that, and I started to understand who is it that I want to be? Who do I want to become? And wherever you start looking at things differently and really stepping outside of your comfort zone, you really start to notice all the different things that you didn't know before.
What was that thing that what's that thing that's changing though?
My beliefs.
Yep, your beliefs and your perception, not about just the world and the world that surrounds you. You're changing perception about who?
About myself.
Well done. You see, this is what we need to understand. When you went to a different environment, all of a sudden you're seeing yourself within the new environment, and then now you're measuring yourself, and then you see others in a different way.
A different way. And it's wherever you come from an environment where it's lack of, you really don't
limitation.
You really don't notice that you're in that, because everything around you, that's all you're seeing and that's all you're attracting. But once you step out of that and you kind of just get out of that perception and ego even, then you start to realize, no, that person doesn't think you're better, or that person doesn't like all these different things that those people think. It's not true. It's just a different perception and different belief. And it's understanding that that person has that confidence. That person does want to do these things. And it's really just understanding that you can do those things as well.
That's a very good example. What's the common error among people is they always look to change things outside of themselves. And they always look and change things in their circumstance, in their relationship, and they're always trying to change the other person or other things, or the job, that you go from one job to another, or they change city from one city to go another city. But what they haven't realized and understand, the change has to come within. When you start changing within, when you start changing what your thoughts are, what your beliefs are, and why you think that what you think, things start changing. You got to reevaluate your belief system. You got to rethink. You got to review, rethink your belief system and your understanding of life, of understanding love, understanding God, understanding relationship, understanding work, understanding everything. You got to really go back again and review everything and see why you think the way you think.
Yep.
Right. We learn, unlearn, and then relearn.
That's correct.
Yep. The leaders of the future are the ones that were able to unlearn, relearn. We came in and we learned. If we stay with that level of awareness and that mentality, you flatline, and you will become the medium of that level of awareness. This is what we need to understand. Your life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And if we understand that, then that means I am the center. I am a center. So according to your level of awareness, that's just puts you right in the middle of it. And then everything that surrounds you are the people, the places, the plots, and the circumstances. You don't change the outside, you change the inside. This is where a lot of people miss it, just like Taha was saying. How can we evolve this internal part of our belief systems? How can we change this program?
Well, there's the two main ways to reprogram and to change them is through autosuggestion and emotional impact. Emotional impacts are usually negative, like 9/11, even COVID right now is an emotional impact for a lot of people. It's causing a lot of people to shift, as well as, like I said, autosuggestion is a big one. There's also hypnotherapy that you can do, but that one's not very common and not quite as effective.
One of the biggest things that we do here, which is we work on people's mindsets. We help them reprogram the subconscious mind, alter their belief systems, and help them reprogram who? Their person, their the essence of themselves, their personal factor. We help them realign themselves with their true essence, which is perfect. Spirit is perfect. So what we do here is we help people recondition, reconfigure the program, rewrite the program.
Mm-hmm.
But once that's done, what starts to happen with that individual?
Starting getting different results. So what we do, and completing what Abraham's saying, really we help individual to change their perception, to create this strong will, to create imagination, to start using their higher faculties, to understand who they are and what they are. A lot of people, when you ask them, who are you, they think that that's their name. That's who they are. And that's not who you are. You are in spirit, and spirit is there's no limit for a spirit to do things what they want. So for a lot of people that want to go different places, they want to get a better result, different result, they got to change who they think they are. And they go ahead.
Yeah, they've got to change who they think they're not. Who is who they think they're not? Can you explain that? You're not who you are, you're not.
Yeah, so you have these beliefs and perceptions or self-image of yourself that it's been given to you through time, through people, through places, and through your understanding, and that's who you think you are, and that's not who you are.
Abe,
you are perfect.
Is the subconscious who you think you're not?
Correct. The subconscious has been pre-programmed, preloaded with information. So when I say it's not who you are that creates your reality, it's who you think you're not. So that means if you don't believe that you're able, you won't. If you don't believe that you can achieve, you won't. If you don't believe that you can create a business, you won't. If you don't believe that you have these abilities and you can become, see, and achieve anything you want, you won't. The man who said he could and the man who said he couldn't were both correct. This is what we need to understand. So what's happening is that we change the belief systems to alter the what? The pattern plan, right? Each and every one of us has a pattern plan in life. And whether we understand it or not is irrelevant. It's coming. Why is it coming? Because the mind already has a pre-programmed version of myself to myself. We all speak to ourselves all day long. And that pre-programmed identity is saying, well, I'm this identity, I'm this character, I'm John. This is who I am. This is where I was born. I'm like this because of my family. I'm like this because of my environment. If you don't believe me, ask one.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to also note that we may consciously think and believe, but underlining our results tell us everything. So if we're not getting the results, if we're trying to, say, create a business and it's not working, it's because unconsciously your programming isn't in alignment, right? So you're unconsciously self-sabotaging yourself to make it not happen, right? Or you get stuck in busy work, or you get, stuck in all these different areas instead of actually working on the cause, right? Which is going to move it. So we may intellectually think and consciously think that we believe something. Ultimately, again, like I said, our results are dictated. We'll show you whether.
Tell the truth. If you want to measure, just look around. Wherever it is, whatever you have, just measure yourself, and the results always tell the truth. And it's not telling you that you can't do it. but it's telling you that you weren't programmed to do it.
Exactly.
And I want everyone to understand before we end this call that your life at the best is short, and you have the potential to do anything that you choose. So you are not what you think and what you see that you are. You're more than that, and you need to recognize what I am Mastermind Institute. We help you to recognize the greatness within you. You recognize that you have infinite potential to truly create the life that you want. I've done it. Gil's done it. Abraham has done it, and as well as Emma. And we want to help people to do the same thing. Live a happy, healthy, wealthy life.
Hey, say Taha, I wanted to touch on one thing that you were saying a bit ago, and that was that when you're trying to change yourself from within, and that's right. And I have just barely started to implement these procedures, and it's really pretty neat. And I've paid as much attention as I possibly can, especially to Abraham. And what you'll find out is when you start implementing this stuff, you will start seeing changes. It may be from a few years of imagination ago. It may be different opportunities arise, and it's really neat. And then I remember Abraham telling me, he's like, he said that, are you really in control of the flow? Because, you're implementing this procedure, you're getting used to it. Are you doing it all the time? And then every once in a while, you'll notice that the subconscious kind of creeps in and something may come true, but then you think back on it a little bit. You're like, that's not really something that, but it's easy to, what's neat about it is that once you can finally start noticing the difference, then you even consistently improve upon yourself. Then it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's absolutely correct. Go ahead.
You're beginning to see your true self, your true power. You see, it's through responsibility that we grow, but it's through understanding that we can implement this. A lot of us, we were never taught this information. This is the reason this needs to be in every school. It needs to be in every home. We were never really taught that, my God, my life has almost been predetermined. You can go back and go visit the people that you knew in high school, college, and they still have the same mindset. You can almost follow their pattern plan. You can go back and look at yourself and see where you're at, and I could almost tell you where you'll be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's a really sad thing when we truly don't understand who and what we really are, and how limitless, how much perfection we have inside of us. But as you start to work with us and start to understand this, you're going to start to see that you have infinite possibilities, and you can go anywhere you truly want.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What we, as we discuss, I mean, we help individual to understand, look within, and instead of outside themselves, look within and recognize those limitless resources and the potential, and understand that you have the ability and is waiting for you to be developed. I hope everyone has a great day. And if Gillis, if you want to have something you want to finish, and go ahead, Emma.
So kind of back to what Abraham, you were saying, this information really is very important, because for those of you that have children or are thinking about having children, or maybe even be grandparents, this information is really, really important, because you are programming the children. You are literally giving them beliefs and paradigms as to how they're going to go through life, how they're going to think, and ultimately how they are going to be.
How they're going to be the world in themselves.
Yes. Yeah. And not just that, but their self-image. So it's very important, because we're shaping the lives of children. If you don't know this information, then it's just going to keep on repeating and repeating. And that's why it's very important to learn it.
We want to break the cycle. And if we want to break the cycle, we've got to start on ourselves. And then we've got to let our children, we're conditioning a mindset. Without even knowing it, we were conditioned. You're going to say, oh, I do what I want. I go where I want. No, you don't. You really don't. If you did, you wouldn't be performing as you're performing. You wouldn't be doing the things you're doing. And you wouldn't be experiencing the life you're experiencing by chance or accident. You would start to go in many different areas, and you're not doing any of those things, are you? Yeah, so you're really not. That's not free will. Free will is the ability to go anywhere and become and do and see anything. Well, those are, again, a product of level of awareness, experiences, and that's a pattern plan. So without knowing it, you're living a conditioned mentality. If you want to go further than a conditioned mentality, you got to be ready, willing, and able to unlearn and relearn. I'm going to touch very lightly on the organized planning. Once we've started to realize where we want to go and we've got a goal, we've got a direction. Again, goals are not to get, they're to grow. We never get it. We're always just getting it. We're just getting better and better. So goals are not to get, they're to grow. And it's that who you become in the process. Now, once you set that goal and you move in that direction, you want to stay focused and you control that with your will. Some of you may say, well, what is the will? The will is my ability to stay focused all the way to the end of the realization of the goal, right? Stay focused, dead focus, and you build that through building more desire. You build more desire, you build more, that's more energy, right? Everything, if you want to go to the higher side of yourself, the higher side of your personality, that's going to be where that high octane is at. That's up here. You go into the imagination and you keep inducing that imagination with more desire. You get it, you start to build more what?
You start to build more
Fantasy.
Yeah, and not just that, you're going to build more
Visioneering.
faith as
Yeah.
well.
As you're building that fantasy, as you're building clarity in the vision, you're inducing more faith. And as you induce more faith, you're going to start to accelerate yourself and the goal that you're working on.
Yes, and not only that, the more that you start playing with that and playing with the imagination and the more faith you gain, also the more confidence you gain as well. And that confidence will really take you a long way, especially with attracting the right people, being able to get in front of the right people as well, and really just being aware of anything and everything around you. Because the more aware you are, then the more you'll start to realize that the people, places, and things are right there. All
They
you
were
have to
always
do is
there.
just grab it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's where I go back to responsibility. A lot of the things we truly want and we're really looking for, but we're too scared to move into or too scared to take the actions, they were always there. The universe is waiting for you to move.
You have to remember, you're just turning that dial. You're just tuning in to that radio. And whatever you're tuning into, that's what you're going to experience. If you tune into those high frequencies, you're then going to start experiencing that new reality, essentially. You're going to start seeing everything that was already there.
I want to introduce just the mastermind principle. What is the mastermind principle?
You know what I'm saying? It's two or more people coming together for the attainment of a definite purpose.
Yep. So as we're some of you may be new to this, why would we want a mastermind? What does mastermind mean? Well, it's two or more people working together to the progression of a worthy idea. Now, if we want to have a big organization, want to have a big company, we want to generate lots of income, we want to give lots of value, because ultimately that's what you're doing, is giving lots of value. The more value you produce, the more money you receive, right? So for a big goal, a big MSI, guess what? What do we need for that? Power. And how do we induce more power?
More people, more energy.
This is the mastermind group. You bring people that specialize. And the funny thing about it is people have been using this for many ages. They brought together specialized people with specialized knowledge for all these different areas to produce success. So the mastermind principle is accumulating specialized knowledge for many individuals to the succession of that worthy idea. And this is how you increase power. This is how you increase amplitude. And this is how you can build corporations. Mm-hmm. This is how you can build companies. And if you really seek to help people, teach them, build them. What is management? It's the development of what?
Of people.
Yes. So if we're really trying to help and we're going to produce more value, my God, work with a team, build a team, help the team accomplish their goals, right? Mm-hmm. So when we start understanding what's this mastermind principle, why have a mastermind group? It's getting people in harmony with the goal. Nobody does anything for nothing. Make them a part of it. Yes? All right, everyone. Want to give you guys a little bit of value. Wanted to tell you guys what we do here. Want to give you guys a little introduction on how we work with individuals. We've got programs where we can take you from wherever you're at, whether you're already a serial entrepreneurial,
Mhm.
you've got several MSIs, you want to scale those or scale into more things.
Or even if you're a beginning entrepreneur, or even maybe if
you're
you want to
working in a
help your
business.
children or family,
Yep.
this information can help you.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't really matter where you're at. The only thing that really matters is where do you want to go? What do you want? You need to start asking yourself, go look in the mirror because you're going to look at yourself every day. And you need to be able to get up and look at that person and say, what do you want, son, daughter, husband, wife? What do you truly want? Because whatever you want, whatever you desire, you can have it and you are meant to have it.
And am I willing to do what it takes to get it?
That's the question. That's it. All you need to know is, do I want it? All right, guys. You guys have anything?
Really fast. So before we hop off, I just want to let you guys know that we will be doing these lives every other Friday. So since we had one this Friday, it won't be next Friday, but the Friday after. And I will have the link posted for you guys to register. So just make sure to be looking out for that as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me, Abraham Tahara Gillis, and we'll be more than happy to get back with you guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Abe.
Have a fantastic day, everyone.